Thank you for listening to Fem Talk 89 FN, and we welcome viewers on My TV as you tune into Femling Pacific's radio with pictures. Coming to you live from the historical Morrissey Memorial Church, or as we all know it as the Dilkusha Church.
It's all part of our 10th anniversary celebration. FemTalk 89 FM was launched on May 5th, 2004, and our very first broadcast was on May 25th, 2004, as part of the commemoration the International Women's Day for Peace and Disarmament.
Last week, we were in Nandi with Idaho, and today our theme is communicating peace and development. So let's join Sharon to introduce members of the Femling Pacific's 1325 network members in Nausori.
Thank you, Below and Jasmine, and welcome to this, our final segment for our FemTalk 89 FM Radio with Pictures in Nausori, simulcast on My TV. Next week at this time from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock, we will be in Lambasa, so look out for that. Okay, coming into our final segment, we've heard all about the issues that have been raised collectively following the consultation of 30 women representing an 800 network of members, not just from Nausori or Rewa, but also Tailevu and Nausori. A lot of it links back into women's participation in decision making. So currently we don't have temporary special measures in our constitution, but there is a national commitment to a minimum 30% target of representation through the National Women's Plan of Action in relation to women's participation on national boards and committees. But as we've also heard today, the numbers when it comes to district advisory councils or the Kina Council or the Divisional Planning Committee is not equitable. We're not meeting the 30% target, and women actually want to see 50% representation because they're waiting for development priorities that they've been talking about for too long. In fact, as one woman said this week, we talk, we talk, we talk, they go away without issues, and we're still waiting. So that's the reality. But first, let's celebrate what women are doing at the community level. And I'm pleased to welcome in this final segment Andi Litia Vakambao, hailing from the island of Mbao, but representing the Song Song of Vakamarama, not just in your village, Andi, but also in the Tailevu province and across Fiji as well, because you've also been quite active at the national level of the Song Song of Vakamarama. Welcome also to Praveen Latta. Praveen, you're a member of the Naikai Congo Mothers Club. We have Lena Reddy from the Korodiri Thiri Mothers Club, and Femling Pacific's very own rural correspondent and convener for Nausori, Pauline Fong. So Pauline, I'm actually going to start with you, just to give an overview, because you're our eyes and ears and our communications person on the ground here, and I know you've been covering issues not just for Nausori town, but in a sense, you know what's going on in Rewa, Tailevu and Nausori as well, because you are talking to, if no one else, the women at the market. So how are women organizing? What are women doing in this area?
Thank you, Sharon. I'm very fortunate to have this network here in Nausori. And when I move out to women in the market, in their homes, in their clubs, in their communities, in settlements, in villages, women are talking about their voices being heard. They really have this need to have their voices being heard, yes, because they do a lot of hard work. They're good managers of their homes. They take care of their children, their husbands. So why not be part of planning? They want to really be part of planning. They want to see that their voices are being heard, and that whatever they are, the issues that they bring up, it is addressed. Because the reality of it is that they are living their lives every day and having to face the issues that surrounds them, but it's not being addressed.
One of the ways that they have been heard, and you've been part of community radio broadcasts, particularly since 2009, but we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of FemTalk 89 FM. How important has the documentation of their stories, the recordings that you do, but then the actual local broadcasts? What's the difference that the radio station has made?
with the community radio that comes down to them, we are very fortunate with our network because it empowers these women to bring out the issues and the realities that they are facing every day, where they come from village or settlements. And whenever they are viewing, talking about the issues that that needs to be addressed, they are finding out also solutions to how they can find ways of having the issues that I'm talking about being addressed. And the women leaders and the women who have the time and space on our community radio feel that it is a very safe and a very good platform for them to share because we bring the radio to them. And
have there been any differences? Have there been any changes? For example, you know, women are talking about issues. We know we're still waiting for street lights in Budi and Tabui level, for example.
Okay.
But have there been any changes?
I'll talk about women in decision-making places. Some of the women who are with us, talk about Nausori village first. She's been with us from the beginning of this 1325 consultations and being on the community radio. And listening to that, she found out that she too has a right to be on the committee. So she is now one of the committee members in Nausori village. Ariata Vengaravi, who is in Vunimono, she is part of the development planning in Vunimono. Rohini Nadan, she is an advisory counselor. She used to come, and she is part of our member of the 1325. And she feels that coming to these meetings that we hold every month empowers her to stand up and voice other rural women's issues that the women cannot take up to advisory level, to the local level government, or up to the national level.
Okay, thanks so much, Pauline, for your work as well in this area. Andilitia, the Songo Bakamarama is probably one of the oldest institutions in Fiji when it comes to women's development and women's empowerment. What is the role of the Songo Bakamarama right now, and what are you trying to achieve, whether it's at the village level, in order to ensure that women are more equitably or equally represented in decision making?
Thank you. Sharon, the Songo Bakamarama is an Itoke Women's Association or organization for women over 16 years in the 14 provinces of Fiji. Most of the women in the executive committee of the Songo Bakamarama hail from the 14 provinces. And these women are in the planning and development of all the women in the different tikinas or in the villages in the Songo Bakamarama in the different provinces. In Tailevu, in the district of Mbau, we have 729 women. And I am now the patron of the Songo Bakamarama in Tailevu. And I would like to make a quotation here from a lady, and I think she's well known, that no matter where you come from, or who you are, to be empowered rests with you, entirely on you always, which means on you women. That depends on how you control and how you plan and develop your meetings so that you can go out and distribute and organize your women in the villages.
Are there cultural barriers, though, to women's participation? We've been discussing how there's not enough representation of women, particularly in the village planning committees or the Tikina Council. Are these seen as cultural barriers that we can overcome?
There are. We are hoping that the new bylaws, which is now being done by the Itoke Affairs CEO, would probably look at the barriers that we have specifically for women. The women have the right to be heard. No matter in what area, it is their right. And Yes, sorry.
No, thank you for that. I'm just going to bring it back to Praveen and Lena. Very quickly, how are you engaging at the community level? Are you feeling that you're being heard? Are you feeling that you're part of decision making?
Yeah, at the moment we are attending one women's club. So by coming to that club, I came to know that Pauline is organizing all this Family Pacific. So I used to come to her monthly meeting. From there, I knew a lot that what are women's rights. Like myself, after my education and after my marriage, I was at home with where I'm educated also, but I didn't know about all this. So I was just did my kids and I just do my housework and I stay at home. So after coming to the club, I just became my community health worker, and also I started to attend the monthly meeting with Pauline. So I just feel proud of myself for doing all this with Pauline.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Praveen?
Yeah, it's same to me because before I used to stay home and we were not given enough chance to talk. And now I can talk because of Pauline, I would like to say, and because she organizes the workshops and we are given chance to talk. That's how we ladies are given more chances to talk.
Okay, thank you so much. Andi Litia, I'm going to bring it back to you because Femlink Pacific, together with the Songo Wakamarama Itoke, the National Council of Women, and the Fiji Women's Rights Movement, we're co-conveners of the Fiji Women's Forum. Is that a good model of moving forward, like bringing women together regardless of our ethnic or faith backgrounds in strategizing around how to enhance the status of women, how to progress gender equality and women's rights?
Yes, I think it is. It is an excellent idea, and it is really good because it brings women of every color or every religion together to work together and work for your voices to be heard, whether it be on TV or on the radio or in church meetings or even in the Tikina councils, because we are facing problems in the Tikina councils, in the village councils specifically. And we hope that these bylaws by the government or the Itoke affairs will find a way to solve that problem. I have intentions of going up myself and taking some of our complaints to the CEO, and there it will not rest.
Thank you so much, Angelitia, for your wisdom and being able to use your seniority and leadership to advocate for these changes. You both, Lena and Praveen, you both talked about feeling empowered because you've had access to information and that kind of space to talk. What kind of information would you be able to also utilize? Angelitia mentioned in our discussions during the week that it's not just about having a workshop, but actually taking the information, the awareness raising into the communities, into the women's clubs. So if that was to be organized, what is the information you would need? From different women's groups, you know, from different organizations, what would empower more women?
We should empower more rural women about poverty and hunger. Like we should do more workshops and awareness programs on child abuse and like how to manage our house, if, like backyard gardening. If we have less money, we don't have to go to the market to buy vegetables. So we, by coming to the clubs and all that, we can get more ideas of backyard gardening. So we can save money in backyard gardenings, like we'll get a fresh vegetables for our family, and we can save money too by doing all this.
So information around family issues, livelihood issues,
yeah.
that's what you're looking for, Praveen?
Yeah. I would say that all the women should be respected and their voices should be heard.
Okay. So what kind of information would you be looking for? Would you be looking for information around women's rights, legal literacy? That was something that Shail was raising before.
Yeah, it's all the women's rights, because they need to know their rights.
Okay. Auntie Litia, you've talked about awareness raising. You've come back from a brief time away. What is the kind of information that's needed, do you think, at the grassroots level when you talk about awareness raising?
Empowering mainly of rural women. To empower them, they must have knowledge, some sort of knowledge, and they must be told how to do things because they do have their own brains and their decision. But we need these women at decision-making levels in the upper areas of government. For these are the women who will know more about women and how to solve the women problem or the women issues, because it involves quite a lot of areas. And here we are sitting down talking about women, and I hope they are listening and have put their thinking caps on and start thinking of what they can do and how they can do to help themselves, because it's always the women, everything.
So, Pauline, when you do the work that you do with FemLink as a convener, as a correspondent, but you're also a disability rights activist as well, when you're doing the work you're doing at the community level, what do you envisage the changes to be at the national level, as Andiliti is saying? It's not just about awareness raising and empowering women at the community level if there are no changes at the national level, right?
So the reality of it, Sharon, is rural women, whether it is climate change, economic or health security, whether we talk about access to justice, or whether we're talking about women in politics. These women are, the women in the rural are living the reality of it. They know their issues. They are good home managers. They take care of their husbands. They send off their children to school. They do their housework and also attend clubs in their communities, be it in the village settlements or be it be it in a village setting or just in normal settlements where we have all these women coming from. And I think the reality of it is that we need to put more women leaders up there, be it local government, be it national government, because these women, they know the realities of rural women, and they know what the rural women are going through.
Is it enough just to have the increase in numbers, or do we also want to see an increase in the national budget committed to gender equality? Right now, the Department of Women only gets 1% of the total national budget, so you can almost understand why things are not happening. Andilitia?
I think they should increase the budget specifically for women, because of the role of women in Fiji sometimes is abused. The women have to have water, they have to have electricity, they have to have the rights that is given to them. And if they don't have that, that means they have a burden, and that is disempowerment. We are fighting to empower the women, and the only way we can empower the women is for them to come together, work together, and go ahead and work so that we can have 100% women in Parliament.
100%? Would
yes,
you like that?
Yes, I would definitely, because women are everything. Without the women, there would be no people.
So increase the national budget towards gender equality for more than 1%.
Yes.
And from what I'm hearing also from our previous discussions, factor in women's needs, the gender equality into the other sectors' budgets. So health, road, agriculture, even poverty alleviation. What do you think?
I think it's like that our women's their voices are being heard, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Andilitia's idea of 100% women's parliament, do you think that's possible?
No, I don't think so.
It may not be possible, we may laugh about it, but it is possible. We can try. Never say sorry, never say no. I don't know the word no.
How could we make it possible? What would you envisage?
As we women now doing these workshops and all this, through this we can just encourage other ladies who are educated and they're staying home. We can encourage them to raise their voice for their rights.
So the more women are speaking up and amplifying the
Yeah.
issues, the more women are talking about the issues, you'll be heard.
Yeah.
And
it will be heard
in Parliament, but also it could encourage more women to be candidates. Okay.
On a national level.
Okay.
We'll have to get them out of the cupboards.
Out of the closet, so to speak.
Yes.
So what are our recommendations? Andi Litia, if you talk about women in politics, what's your recommendation? How can we, is it about, as Lena is saying, just keep encouraging, keep giving them that opportunity to find your voice, use your voice, raise your voice?
We can raise our voice with dignity. Women should be respected. For without women, there'd be nothing here, no people. And the men must respect that. There's too much of this macho business in our homes. The women rely on the men. We can do it ourselves. We've got the power to do it. And knowledge is power. So reading and doing everything is powerful. The men cannot do without us.
Thank you, Andi Litia. Pauline, your last words.
I would like to see more women in decision-making places. If you see a woman and she can manage the home well, and she does all that besides her role as a community health worker or going and managing a club, I think we can have more strong women up there at national level.
Thank you so much
Can I
for
just say
one
something?
final word from Andi Litia.
You know, being creative is something good. And women in Fiji are creative. But you must break the rules. And it's not a sin to break the rules. Just go out of the box.
Okay, so on that note, we're going to think outside the box, and remember there's going to be more interesting discussions when FemTalk 89 FM takes our suitcase radio and radio with pictures to you in Lambasa. We will be live from our very own community media center in Lambasa town, and I'd like to thank Andi Litia, Praveen, Lena and Pauline for joining us in this our final segment. We look forward to your company on my TV, Radio with Pictures with FemTalk 89 FM next week. Hinaka.
Thank you.